Patricia, it's really been a great platform to recognize teachers' sterling performance today. All right, we don't seem to have Patricia on the link just yet. We'll try and get her for you a little bit later on in the bulletin. For now, let's move on to some sports news. Matt Kuchar maintained the lead in the second round at the Genesis Open, but Rory McIlroy and Adam Scott are not far off the pace in perfect winter conditions in Southern California. On a day when tournament host Tiger Woods frittered away several shots with some poor wedge play and fell 9 shots from the lead, Kuchar compiled a respectable 2 under par 69 at Riviera in Los Angeles. Well, world number 1 Rory McIlroy moved 2 shots behind leader Matt Kuchar at the Genesis Invitational after carding a second round 4 under par 67 in California. America's Kuchar sits on 9 under par overall following a second round of 69. McIlroy, who returned to the top of the rankings on Monday, is tied for second with America's Harold Varner III and Wyndham Clark. Tiger Woods' challenge fell away after a disappointing 2 over par 73. Woods, who's aiming for a record-setting 83rd US PGA Tour win, was 5 shots off the pace after the first round at the Riviera Country Club and avoided the cut by 1 shot. Australia's Adam Scott, South Korean Kang Sung-hoon, and America's Vaughn Taylor and Russell Henley all head into the third round 3 shots behind Kuchar on 6 under par for the tournament. Justin Thomas, Phil Mickelson and Jason Day are some of the big names that did miss the cut. Well, I believe we have Patricia back on the line. Basic Education Minister, Mrs. Angie Motshekga, and Minister in the Presidency, that's Mr Jackson Mthembu, are hosting the 20th National Teaching Awards at the Soshanguve East Secondary School in Pretoria today. For more, let's cross to our reporter, Patricia Visagie. Patricia, a great platform this afternoon to really recognize our teachers' sterling performance in the country.
I could not have agreed with you more. What a great, excellent platform, of course, to really just recognize the hard work, the commitment that, a whole lot of teachers across the country at the various schools are pouring in every day. And just to reiterate what I said earlier, that all of us at some point went through the hands of a teacher. And it is, important, as we heard earlier, the Department of Education emphasizing that to just give them that recognition and honor. So let's speak to the Minister of Basic Education, Angie Mthembu. Thank you so much, Angie Mthembu, for joining us. It's a beautiful platform, teachers being honored, recognized for their hard work, the sterling work that they perform daily to make sure that the future of South Africa, of course, is shaped through, those little people that they groom every day, even myself as I stand here. So as of course, the Minister, the custodian of the Department of Basic Education, standing here, having, celebrated this moment, just share with us, why is it so important?
No, it's so important because the system is on the shoulders of teachers. Everything that we achieve is because of the hard work that they give. They work under very difficult conditions, work with growing people who've got all growing pains and growing difficulties, and all the time they have to keep them in track and keep them loved and really build them that we have responsible, we have innovative, we have really proper, well-groomed citizens. So they are, I think, the most important people in our nation, in our country, because they handle the most important people in our lives, which is our children.
We're celebrating 2 decades of these awards, and of course they have evolved by nature. The categories have expanded. Can you maybe take us through that journey in the past 20 years? How have we arrived at this beautiful moment? And the categories, as I said, they've expanded. But the other point that I also want you to share with us, some people will say, why such a prestigious event in Soshanguve and not in Sandton or in the heart of the capital city? And maybe you can take us through that.
Gauteng has been building schools of the future, beautiful schools, great facilities, and for us as a sector which doesn't have lots of money, it's very economic, but it's also beautiful to also use our own facilities. We have cooked for ourselves, we've hosted ourselves as a sector, so we're singing for ourselves. So it really also shows the roundedness of the sector. So, and for me, I think it's also good in terms of economy, because all the service providers are from local. Everything else that we couldn't do for ourselves, we got local people to come and do for us. So it's also heartwarming just to see how, as a sector, we're begin to level the playing fields. We're not there, we're still not equal, but these are strides that the government is making to make sure that there's equality in our system.
Talking about equal education and the point that you mentioned earlier, that teachers are really working under hard conditions, and I think the biggest challenge is discipline in schools. When we're celebrating here and we're honoring the hard work and that commitment as, of course, their leader in the sector, what would you say? What is it that we can really do better as a country to really honor them? Because I think the biggest honor for teachers would be to make the working environment much better for them. How can we fix that?
No, and safer. And I can tell you, on our own, even teachers themselves will not be able to do all the things they're supposed to do if parents themselves don't play their part and make sure that they're in schools, they support teachers. If learners themselves, as they grow, we don't help them to really be properly disciplined, we don't take sides with them when teachers reprimand them. I get lots of parents complaining the teacher shouted at my child, as if children don't belong to all of us and are not supposed to be grown by all of us. My humble request to our communities, let's keep schools as sacrosanct. Don't touch schools, don't touch school property, don't ban schools, don't vandalize schools. But on the other hand, our parents must support our teachers and our children must respect our teachers. And that's all we're asking for.
All right, thank you so much, Minister, and congratulations once more. Here, a gentleman with me who has received a Lifetime Achievers Award. Sir, congratulations. I'm sure so many hands, so many pupils who are adults today who have their own children have perhaps traveled through your teaching hands. So maybe share with us which school are you from and just your feelings.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate I'm from Ligbron Academy in Mpumalanga, and this fully diverse school which really shares their facilities with everyone in the environment. You know, you can't go to sleep today and hear the people screaming of hunger and do nothing about it. So we just decided to share, and this is now for 12 years and more. And I'm very grateful to say that we're a school that's really part and parcel of South Africa. And I think we've got to collaborate, the department, the private sector, each and everyone in this country, to bring, like late Minister Mandela said, the power of education to the nation. And that's a powerful tool, and we can only do it if we collaborate, work together, and partner and be partners in education.
Talking about, just being that part, honoring that partnership between the community, the administration, and teachers as a collective. You've been teaching for how many years, and what are some of the challenges and the changes that you've experienced over the years?
Yeah, I've been teaching for 43 years, and actually the educational department, not the department, but the educational business is a very conservative environment. For 200 years they used a blackboard. So the challenge is to change. The challenge is to change every day and see that 4IR is on us. The fourth industrial revolution is not a threat. We've got to move on to problem solving, skills development. We must see it as a challenge, not as a threat. I think that is the most important thing. And if schools don't change every day for the better, they're going to lose and they're going to stay behind.
All right, thank you so much, and as I said, congratulations once again. Some of the teachers who are honored here today, and of course the teacher there telling us that he's been doing this for over 4 decades, and today he walks away with the Lifetime Achievers Award, and of course many others also here honored and recognized for the sterling work that they continue to remain committed to at the various schools across the country. Let's toss it back to you in studio.
Thank you, Patricia. Patricia Visagie at the National Teachers Awards on this afternoon. Well, that's where we leave it for now. More news at the top of the hour. Do stay locked on to the SABC News channel. Take care. Bye-bye.